come at you with a different topic and a way to kind of help you save some more money. That's always the goal around here. So tonight's topic, how to cut your grocery budget, hopefully in half, if not more for some of you over ambitious folks. But really, just to get started on having the concept of we have a grocery budget. I run into so many people who don't really have an idea of what they are spending on groceries. And in reality, guys, if we were to look at our budgets and need to find room, need to find extra money, groceries is actually one of the most flexible categories that you have. It may not feel flexible. I've got 7 mouths in our household, so the idea of finding extra money in the grocery budget might seem really hard, but believe me, it is easier to find money in your grocery budget than it is to find money in your mortgage or your homeowner's insurance. Those things are not as flexible. I promise, grocery budget wise, we really could buckle down and have a significant decrease in our budget. Now, I'm not talking that we're gonna, not eat for a week. That's not the option here, but there are some things that we could be doing that would have a significant impact on the amount of money that you're spending each week. Now, I'm kind of curious, before we dive in, what is your goal, your grocery budget goal, if you have one? If you don't have one, that's okay to confess too. But where are you with your weekly grocery budget? What are weekly and monthly maybe? What are you trying to stay under? Now, I asked this question on Instagram, I guess this morning or late last night, kind of reminding folks that we were going to do this Q&A. And I got a number of people who were saying that they spend $500 a month, some that were saying they spent $400 a month, some even said $400 was way too much. That actually surprises me. I would say for a family of 4 or 5, that you were aiming for that $400 a month for 4 people budget. And when I say grocery budget too, maybe we need to clarify this. I really mean everything. So your household cleaning supplies, your personal care items, everything that we're eating, that is all included in our grocery budget. I am not having a CVS budget and a Target budget. That doesn't work. So I don't, you have to think about that too as to how you classify your grocery budget but for me, that is what we're aiming for. So everything household, basically anything that I'm grabbing when I'm out shopping, that's what's coming out of this budget. So a household of 4 at $400 a month, that's doable. It's tight in my opinion, but it's very doable. It's $100 a week on average. Obviously our months aren't always 28 days, but it's pretty close. $125 a week would give you a $500 a month budget. Where are you? So just curious to see what your budgets are or what your goal is in your grocery budget. So if you would leave that in the comments, it always helps me to see where you are. So Janice is aiming for $100 a month. I am curious, Janice, how many folks are in your household to live on that? That would be really, really tricky. Bridget's aiming for $320 a month for 4. That's a great aim too. Okay, Janice, I see the one person. And I guess that is doable for one person. I haven't grocery shopped for just one person in a very long time. So for us, maybe we could, I'm not sure. But diving in, my goal for you guys, obviously, maybe if you've never set a grocery budget, we need to figure that out. And it might be just looking at, okay, what did we spend last month? Or if last month being Christmas throws off the numbers a little bit, what did you spend back in October? Look at a month that had no holidays, just to make it a little easier. Then what did I spend and how could I change that? Do I want to just say, you know what, I wasn't couponing, I wasn't watching the sales, I want to go for that easy, let's cut it in half, but let's come up with a goal for where you were going. So I'm seeing a lot. So Lynn is also saying she does $100 a week for 1 human and 1 cat. And then her cat food is higher than her human food. I feel your pain there, Lynn. I was just kind of getting all of our budgets set in a new budgeting software program that we're using and realized how much we spent on pets Now I'm lumping the chickens in with that, and the chickens, they give us eggs, but they do have a cost. So I don't know, we were debating whether the chickens needed their own budget category just so that pets didn't seem so high in our household. Kathy's saying she spends $300 a month for 2 people. Heidi says there are 4 of us and that they spend about $600 a month, and she needs to cut that back to about between $500 and $550. Okay, that's awesome. And Janice, I love it. Janice is saying her freezer and pantry are full, so she's shopping at home, and that is actually a huge tip. So like jumping ahead, but I think all of us, once we do have that stockpile built, having even a week a month where you aimed to say, we're gonna shop from our pantry. Just 1 week a month. I'm not saying do a whole month, not trying to go overboard here, but digging out that back of your freezer, digging out the bottom of the pantry, the things that get lost, and trying to make sure that we eat them, that they're not getting lost. That is a huge money saver for all of us. So I love it. Okay. And Wendy, tell him, yes, the horse's allergy meds is a whole nother category too. But Sam's makes it pretty affordable. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit. Now, I've done 2 online couponing workshops here lately. I have another one coming up this coming Saturday. So if you wanted to jump into a whole online couponing workshop, do that. Join me Saturday morning. I forgot to pull a link for my husband, but maybe he can figure it out. Actually, it's on the workshops page on Southern Savers. So if you go to Southern Savers and click at the very top, you'll see attend a workshop. Click on that and you'll see the link to register Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It's free. So tonight is crash course, super fast in groceries, and then we're gonna skip on ahead to just other ways that you can impact your grocery budget. But we do have to hit the basics here, and the basics being that our goal is to only buy when things are on sale. It is not to go in and make a list of what I'm out of and aim to get all those items that I'm out of. Because if I did that, if I went and stood in the pantry and made a list of all the things we've run out of, the odds of even one of those items being on sale this week, it's really slim. If you're making a list that is need-based, nothing is gonna be on sale. You're gonna pay top dollar for most of those items, or you're gonna grab house brands to make you feel better, but you are not gonna get a great deal on those items. A great deal on those items is when you wait for the sale and I buy it on sale with a coupon and I stock up on those items. That's when we want to grab it. Not need, but sale-based shopping. So the key points to be able to do that: sales run on a 6-week cycle. So if I go in today, here's a great example. Actually, I tried to pull some props for tonight. If I go in Wednesday to Publix and I want to buy pasta, starting Wednesday, Mueller's pasta, buy one, get one, and we have a coupon that was just in Sunday's paper. So I use that new Mueller's coupon. I'm gonna get pasta for 50 cents a box after the sale and the coupon. I'm not gonna get it for 50 cents a box for 6 weeks after this coming week. So you need to get enough to last you 6 weeks. Now, this is not 42 boxes of pasta, guys. This is enough for 6 weeks. In our house, that would be like 2, maybe 3. I would eat spaghetti every week if I was allowed to, but my husband's not a huge pasta fan. So it's an occasional item in our house. And that's for 7 people. I might buy 2 and we're there. Now we eat a whole box of spaghetti at a time when we do eat spaghetti, but we're just not eating it very often. So stocking up is very different for every single one of us. It is not a bomb shelter in the backyard. Just make that a mental note to yourself. But it is getting enough for what your family needs to last you 6 weeks. And if I don't get enough, then I am gonna make that trip back to the store. I am gonna pay a much higher price than I paid on sale. So just to emphasize on that one, that we want to try to follow the sales. Now, Jeannie, I see your comment, and she says eating healthier and organic is blowing the budget, and so she's trying to do better in 2021. Now, I'm totally for eating healthier and organic, and I would just emphasize one note on that when I say, we want to follow the sales, to realize that even organic items, healthy items, still have sales. They may not be as beautiful as all the other items in the store, but they still do follow sales. And so even for folks who are trying to only eat organic only try to stick to a specific diet. I saw someone comment on Instagram on this same post that I was mentioning with budgets, saying, you know what, they have celiac, and so they're buying gluten-free and dairy-free, and then that is really killing the budget. But we still see those items go on sale. And so for you, it's getting creative. It's really finding the sales, figuring out what that sales cycle looks like for those specific items so that you're ready when that sale happens and you don't miss them, because it is key to making it fit in the budget. Another side might be, you know, when it comes to having a dietary restriction, guys, I could very easily just leave pasta out. So instead of having to afford gluten-free pasta, why don't we just go with, get a spiralizer and grab some zucchini and some squash and make your own, almost in a sense, like you're going keto. I'm not gonna pay for the gluten-free side of things. I'm just going to altogether switch to a vegetable side of things for that item, or whatever the solution is for you on those more expensive items, that they become a luxury and not a norm in your budget for sure. Okay, to kind of keep diving into, I don't want to miss anyone's questions. I see one person saying the coupons in your paper are really kind of stinky right now, and they've doubled the price to $3 a week. Nicole, that's the average price for a newspaper in my area too. So, it's, I think, across the country. We are seeing a lot of coupons in the inserts. The beginning of the year is always a great time to be getting the Sunday paper. We're actually going to have 3 inserts this coming weekend: a Smart Source, a Retail Me Not, and a P&G insert. So this coming weekend's a good weekend to get a paper, but maybe it might be that you start to look for a bigger paper, a paper that is outside of your area. You can do that online. There are folks that have whole coupon inserts online, and that might be the route that you want to go. Okay, to keep going through, and I think I'm getting everyone's questions too. Trying to check in and make sure I'm not missing anything. So we've hit the basics: sales cycles and stocking up. The other big portion of a lot of budgets is meat and produce. And so for meat and produce, we want to eat healthier. We want to focus on fresh fruits and vegetables for sure. My big push for you would be that we focus on trying to not buy them in the grocery store. And that is always hard for folks. We want to aim, if we can, join a produce co-op, look for a CSA farm. That stands for Community Supported Agriculture. There's a few places you can look for those. The easiest, honestly, is Google. So Googling the name of your city and produce co-op, or the name of your city and CSA farm, is going to return some results. If you find absolutely nothing, reaching out to your local extension office, your agricultural extension office, and almost every county has these. Definitely in the South. I can't speak for outside of the South, but I know in the South, every county has an extension office. But local farms are going to register with them. So are local farmers markets. They're gonna have the inside track for you guys as to where you can find local produce outside of the grocery store. Now, I know when you think of like a roadside farmers market, this sounds really expensive. We're not buying like a little tiny basket of tomatoes. To get the best deal on your produce, I need you to buy produce in bulk. I need you to aim to get a laundry basket of produce, basically, is your goal. So for us, that is what we do. So Produce Co-op, we all bring laundry baskets. We line up our laundry baskets, and I go home with 50 to 60 pounds worth of produce and have paid $25 for all of it. Now that's our particular co-op. That is not, a co-op that is across the nation, obviously. But literally, guys, I'm just going to show you ours too. So our co-op is really a group of people that formed a Facebook page, a Facebook group. People from all over the city. I don't necessarily know many of them, though I know them by face. I don't even know all of their names. But we share recipes with each other with what we come home with. But it is super easy. You pay in here. You say whether or not you're going to be a part of it. I was actually coming in, so if I could find a picture. I don't know if we have photos in here that you can come in and look at either. Here we go. It's everybody's recipes is mostly what we have in here. But sometimes folks, oh, There's a gorgeous picture. We'll come home and take a picture of what was in our co-op basket. So this was a basket picture from October 17th. Thank you, Hillary. You didn't even know your picture was going to be out here today, but just an idea of what we would come home with on a regular basis. This is a co-op. Now, what we've done is bought produce in bulk. So we didn't buy like a couple bags of mandarin oranges and a couple bags of lemons. We're talking about 40 to 50 baskets that will be lined up. And so cases of items. It's much cheaper to buy by the case and then split it up. Now, it doesn't take much to start a co-op. So you may not live in my area, but you could easily do this with even, 9 or 10 friends, can be friends of friends, gathering together, having a day where you're going to come together, you're going to split up that case, and you're good to go. Done. But that $25 that we spend in produce, we do this twice a month. That is usually all of the produce that I will buy, excluding some extra fruit from the grocery store. But it's very rare that I'm going to go to the grocery store and come home with potatoes or anything else in the vegetable category. It's all coming from our produce co-op box. So I urge you to get out of the grocery store. You cannot touch these prices, even in Aldi, to get 50 to 60 pounds worth of produce for 25 bucks. It's basically like going into the grocery store and paying 50 cents a pound across the board for everything you got. It doesn't happen. Bananas aren't even 50 cents a pound in most grocery stores these days. So not gonna happen. So hopefully that helps a little bit on just some ideas. Meat as well, going bulk. Looking for bulk direct from the producer. If you've got a chicken plant in your area, you can go through restaurant supply stores. So we shop at the U.S. Food Chef store for most of our meat. There's also Gordon Food Service. There's a number of restaurant supply. Google wholesale meat and the name of your city, and hopefully you're going to find something, or the name of a city bigger than you if it's nearby. I would even say a trip to the U.S. Food Chef store for anyone in South Carolina. You probably have one within an hour and a half of you, and it's totally worth a once every 3-month road trip to buy your meat in bulk and then not buy meat for the next 3 months. We're talking boneless, skinless chicken breasts, $1.10 a pound, ground beef, $1.87 a pound. You can't touch those prices in any grocery store. So just look into it. That's all I'm saying. Not forcing you to go anywhere else, just want you to look into it. It really is a big impact on your budget to not buy those at grocery store prices, for sure. Now, Teresa's got a question. Are stores doing rain checks for sale items? My Food Lion and Harris Teeter still won't give rain checks. So, Teresa, the rain checks from a corporate level are still kind of on hold, and they have allowed stores to decide on their own if they feel stocked enough to give rain checks. But corporate as a whole, most of our big grocery stores have not said, yes, we are going to fully honor our sale ads even when we run out. They just aren't there. Hopefully, we're going to get back there, but I don't see that happening until really, I would say that may even line up when your face mask goes away, that we're going to finally be back to that point. And that I think we still have a little while till that's going to happen. Okay. And what was the Facebook page for produce? I can share this. It's a Facebook group with you. If you don't live in the Columbia, South Carolina area or the Lexington, the South Carolina area, I don't know that you're going to want to join our produce co-op, but you are more than welcome to check out the co-op. I think it's going to make you ask to be a member to be able to see much about the group. But if you're in the area, we'd love to have you join us. It's just a group of people. There's not a business behind it. So there are some folks who run it. It is not me. I'm just part of it. But you are more than welcome to join us if you are anywhere near the area. Oh, wow. Stacy says she found a deal on the Atlanta Journal that was a flash sale for only $1 a week. That is a crazy good price. Stacy, that's like hitting a Dollar Tree without having to leave the house. Okay, let me keep going and I'll jump into some other questions too. I see some CVS and some Walgreens questions and we'll get there. So we've hit sales cycles, meat and produce. The other big one is that I want you to focus, if we're really trying to cut the grocery budget, the first thing that needs to go are non-meal items. So in our house, I mentioned this some last year too, but I really no longer buy juice. Now, I was able to find this in the pantry, but I have to give my husband a kind of shout out here. So this juice is even off limits to my kids. But this juice, my husband told me this past week that if I bought some apple juice, that he would turn it into homemade hard apple cider. So I bought myself some juice is maybe the way to look at it. But I do not buy juice for my kids anymore. Their choices are water and milk. Milk is still expensive, but water and milk. Now, if your kids are losing it and they have to have juice, then let's go here. Honestly, guys, it's about as healthier. There's not a big difference when we're coming down to it. This is just powdered, but the price for Country Time or for Kool-Aid, I mean, on sale with a deal, these were what, 75 cents in Kroger? We got a lot of them when they were last on sale. We see coupons for them a few times a year, and they do usually line up with sales. So we don't buy a ton of them, but this will last us, getting a few of these will last us for a number of months because we're not pulling them out very often. Milk and water are what our kids focus on. Juice is incredibly expensive. When you look at it at a per gallon price, most juices per gallon, almost twice the price of milk. So you may look at milk and think it's expensive, but if we're looking at a bottle of juice and you're thinking, great, I found it for $2 a piece for a 64-ounce thing of juice. Well, it takes 2 of those to equal 1 gallon. So you're still looking at $4 a gallon for juice. And so sometimes that helps to put apples and apples together basically and compare it to that price of milk in your mind. I would much rather my kids to drink milk than to drink just juice, so milk or water, and they tend to focus on the water more than they do on the milk, but they'll still all grab a cup of milk at least once a day, just for something different. And with juice, I see someone mentioning you can use juice to make homemade jellies. Now, that would be super Susie Q homemaker of me. I can't tell you the last time I made homemade jellies, but I will aim to do that at some point. I'll just put on my list, things to do this year. We are pretty excited in the making homemade apple cider, homemade hard apple cider. There are a few other things that we've done in the last year. We do a lot of home pickling. We turn our garden into things, but I haven't gone into the jelly side. Okay, so what do we Google for meat? Nicole, the easiest thing to Google looking for bulk meat is wholesale meat, and then the name of your city, or restaurant supply stores and the name of your city or the biggest city that's near you. So those are the things to look for. So juice is gone for us. Snacks get decreased as well. I'm not saying that I don't buy snacks. We still see some great deals on snacks. My Publix shoppers, we're gonna see Del Monte fruit cups. You know what, I'm just gonna look it up so I don't even tell you wrong. But Del Monte fruit cups, I think they are gonna come out to like 12 cents a piece with a sale starting on Wednesday. So crazy good, and it's just because the coupons line up. So Publix has a new store coupon that's out for buy one, get one free. They're on sale starting Wednesday. We've got an Ibotta starting Wednesday, or well, we already have the Ibotta, and we have a manufacturer's. So super cheap. Glad to bring home some fruit snacks or fruit cups at 12 cents a piece. So when those things line up, like our granola chewy bars this past week, super, super cheap at, what were they, 70 cents a box? Glad to bring home snacks. Beyond the snacks that we find deals on, it's pretty rare that I bring home snacks. So snacks around here, you can grab a piece of fruit. I keep cheese regularly. We just get the blocks of cheese. We don't even get, it's rare to even get string cheese or anything else, but we'll cut up cheese, we'll eat fruit. They'll do peanut butter and crackers, which you can do yourself. It's cheaper than making the peanut butter and cracker sandwiches. Just open up a package of Ritz and get out some peanut butter. Pretty much the same thing. Those tend to be our focuses for snacks. And limiting too. I mean, I think every household is, you've got to ask mama for snacks, and yes, it drives mama crazy, but it does help manage what you're eating and the budget for that too. The other thing that I want you to avoid that I consider a non-meal item, you feel like it's a meal, but it was a very expensive meal. So bakery items, if you're grabbing muffins for breakfast, it's a splurge here. I get them from the clearance section, but bakery muffins at the price per muffin is crazy expensive. You feel like it was a quick breakfast, but it was a quick, very not frugal breakfast. So think about that before you get into like the individual bars, that whole section where I can buy the bars by flavor. That's great, but that cost per bar, when we look at it per serving, becomes a very expensive meal. You've got a lot of meals to work in to your 30-day month. So 90 meals is what your goal is. So you think of Janice, who's living on $100 a month for one person. That basically is leaving you like $1.20 a meal if you look at it in that sense. So I can't blow that on one muffin for breakfast. That was $1. Really need to aim on cheaper per serving items. And I don't think a lot of us focus on that in the store. We tend to grab items that look yummy, that we want to eat, but we don't think about, wait a second, per serving, in terms of this being an entire meal, how much is this? Because I can guarantee you can make those muffins cheaper if muffins are really what you need, but you can also find other cheaper options for breakfast. And seriously, even getting a dozen eggs would be cheaper when you look at it per serving for breakfast than buying those bakery muffins that look amazing at 4 muffins for $4. No, don't do it. I think you can get a dozen eggs to last past 4 servings. That would be a lot of eggs per person if you didn't. But hopefully, and Kristen's asking, in terms of juice, the frozen concentration in a can, is that a thrifty option? It is. I'd still look at it in the sense of most of those frozen cans, how much does a frozen can of juice turn out to make? So most of them, I remember my grandmother doing this as well for her lemonade and her orange juice. This is all she did, was those Minute Maid frozen cans. But if they still are only making maybe a 1 liter or 2 liter pitcher, then we've still got a chunk to go until we hit a gallon. So it's much easier. You're so used to that price of milk per gallon. And then once you start to compare that, that's going to help you to really decide, is this still being frugal or not, even down to the juice concentrate. Okay. Yeah, Susan, I agree. The muffins at 400 calories a muffin is also painful. But we're just going to look at it in the price today. We're not going to talk about calories. That's a whole different Q&A. But we are, just on the price per serving. That's the painful part here. There are a few other things. I try to mention these every time we do a topic that is similar to this, so I don't want to miss them. A big one in meat, when you're in the grocery store, stay away from any meat that is priced by the each. Publix does this almost every single week with their weekly ads and salmon. So Publix will always put salmon on sale at $5 or $4.50. But then when you look at that salmon, that's not price per pound. That is price per 5 ounce each of a piece of salmon. And so when you start to look at that, and here we go, I've pulled up the Publix ads so we could all compare it. But when we start to look at that at $5, or where are we today? $6 for fresh salmon cuts. And it is let's see, how small are you? A 5.2 ounce serving for $6. So, I mean, guys, that's like $1.20 a pound, or sorry, an ounce, $1.20 an ounce. And there are 16 ounces in a pound. So you are talking about paying over $20 a pound for this marinated piece of meat. Marinate it yourself. There is no reason to do that. This is actually a great week to make that example because they actually have salmon on sale. So I could get fresh salmon not marinated for $7.99 a pound. In general, anything that's sold by the each is incredibly painful for your budget. It doesn't need to be there. But this is also a good moment to just remind you that anything that has been pre-prepared already has a very large markup and is rare that those pre-prepared items are actually a deal. So the fact that they put a bourbon brown sugar marinade on that salmon in no way should equal $12 a pound on the salmon. So don't go there. And even with this $7.99 pound salmon, you could still grab this in sections. I don't even have to grab a whole pound. This is not a vacuum sealed massive fillet. I'm still gonna be able to get individual pieces, but I am not gonna have to pay that crazy price per pound. But the problem is a lot of folks don't look at that. They look at the $5.99 here and they think, oh, it's kind of affordable, it's $5.99. And you don't do the math out to figure out, wait a second, what exactly is that gonna cost me per pound? So step back, don't buy it. Just in general, remember that one, don't buy them. Anything pre-prepared is usually pretty dangerous for your budget. So that's the meat section, that's the bakery, that's the deli. They're dangerous areas of the store in the grocery store. That is some of the highest markup for grocery stores in those three categories. So just be warned. The other one though, anytime I buy something as a single item, just like the meat, it's gonna cost more. So here you've finished checking out and you're now to the register and we have that lovely refrigerated section of Coca-Cola bottles at $1.79 a piece. It's the same bottle that's in the 6-pack right down the aisle. At $1.79 a piece, you are gonna end up paying almost 10 bucks for a 6-pack of bottled Coca-Cola. You would never do that. Most of us would never even buy the 6-pack Coca-Cola unless it was on sale. So do not grab that individual soda from that refrigerated section. Just do everything you can to resist it. It is a horrible deal in the grand scheme of things. You might as well walk back and grab the uncold 6-pack and pay like $2 more for 5 more bottles than grabbing one in that refrigerated section. So just stay away. Those are not pretty at all in the grocery store. I want to stop there before I move on to some other things and hit a few other questions. I have a few. Wendy was saying she hasn't gotten any store coupons in the past 2 weeks. Do you have any options? So Wendy, you're not alone. This tends to happen to people in little pockets. You could call CVS Corporate. I think what most people have found is that come like another week or so, they just come back. I would keep shopping there. I would keep grabbing the deals. And one other tip, sometimes their app, CVS Wise, has been messing up and the app is not showing the coupons, but if you log into CVS's website, they are actually there. That happened to me in the store this past Sunday, and I wasn't alone. I heard a lot of other folks that had issues with them where the app showed absolutely nothing on Sunday, but logging into CVS's website, I still had all my normal amount of coupons. So maybe that's the case for you. Fingers crossed that you do actually have a lot and you're just not seeing them. Maria is asking, could we talk about the new Walgreens Cash? Really, Maria, no changes there. They just changed the name. They went from a point-based system to a dollar-based system for Walgreens Cash. But beyond that, rules have not changed. They're still following the same quirks that they followed before. So, you can't pay with them on a deal that tells you to buy $20 worth, because if your total goes below $20, you won't earn your new reward. Exactly like our Balance Rewards used to be, just a new name. And now I don't have to keep up with that crazy 1,000 points equals $1 ratio. So hopefully that helps. Oh, and Sheila, yes, I have heard CVS is going to discontinue printing a weekly flyer starting the week of, I think it's 2/24. No, I'm off on that. 2/24 is a different change. The week of 1/31 will be our last printed CVS weekly flyer. And they will then be online only like Walgreens is. So Walgreens has now been no printed flyer for almost a year, and CVS I think has decided to cash in on this decrease in cost and go to the same plan. So digital only. For me, I don't think it'll change that much. I think I'll still be able to have the CVS ad up for you guys on Thursday afternoons, where I normally have it posted on Thursdays. Because I actually get a preview from CVS Corporate. Just because they do not make a printed ad, they will still have a weekly ad. It will still be posted to CVS's website. You will still be able to get it in your app. It will still post early, the way it currently does, on Wednesdays on CVS.com. So you can get those too. It just takes me an extra day to get them all typed up and get the coupons matched in. Okay, and the change for 224, in case you're wondering, is that Retail Me Not is rebranding and will have a new name starting 224. So you got to keep it all straight. It looks like their new name will be Save. Quite original of them, I guess. Okay, Jessica, I like this question a lot. Is it cheaper to shop a whole month's worth of groceries at Sam's Club or cheaper shopping the local grocery stores? So, Jessica, I guess the real question is, are you willing to shop the sales in the grocery store, even throwing in a few coupons? Because if you are, the grocery stores will always win on 90% of your groceries at Sam's. Now I didn't say 100, but 90%. There are some things that Sam's always tends to have the better price on. I actually posted a video last weekend on Facebook of just the things that are great prices in Warehouse Club. So like your almonds and pecans and your olive oils and whatnot's price per ounce, they usually will win on those items. But other items, canned and packaged, boxed items, your grocery store is always going to win on those items. Because when I grab them on sale, it's not about the size. It's not about getting the biggest package that there was. It's really about getting the sale price. So for example, to go back here and starting Wednesday or Thursday for my folks in Florida, we've got Mueller's pasta at Publix for 50 cents a box. My Kroger folks, if you aren't a Publix person, you're a Kroger person, across the country even, Kroger affiliates right now, you can get Ronzoni pasta, Cremette, and San Giorno pasta for 49 cents a box. So this isn't just a rare moment, but I am not gonna go into Sam's and find pasta that cheap. So our Sam's sells Barilla pasta in I think it's a 6-count box of pasta. So it's 6 individual boxes that are all, vacuum sealed together basically. And the price is about $7 to $8 for those 6 boxes. But in the grocery store, this is gonna cost me $3 for 6 boxes. The grocery store wins. So hopefully that's just one tiny example, but across the board, that's how most of the examples are gonna go for canned and packaged items, warehouse versus grocery store. We could go here too, guys, for Aldi, just to say, if you aren't hitting 50 cents on a box of pasta for Aldi, then you're paying too much, because Publix, Kroger, we're seeing it across the board at our big stores in town. So you got to be thinking about where you're shopping and whether or not I really am getting the deals that I think I'm getting in those places. Okay. Oh, I love it. Barbara says she tuned into last Thursday's class and she keeps hearing my voice in her head, only buy the things that are on sale. I can just put that on a little recording for you, Barbara. You can keep an earphone in and just listen the whole time you grocery shop. Maybe that'll help. Okay, to keep going, a few other ways to cut your grocery budget. And I see Robin asking, do I use the Fetch app? So let's go there for a second. And mobile apps, it's a huge way to cut your grocery budget. So maybe you don't get the Sunday paper, and maybe paper coupons even scare you. So if you're to that point, I'm cool with buying what's on sale, Jenny. I'm cool with buying and stocking up with what's on sale, but I don't necessarily want to have to think about cutting coupons before I go to the store. Then consider mobile apps. So Fetch, Ibotta, Checkout 51, those are the 3 major mobile apps that are out there. Keeping up with 3 can be a little overwhelming, so maybe you just start with Ibotta, but I would recommend you use all of them. You're gonna come home, you're gonna take a picture of your receipt, they're gonna walk you through it, and you're gonna get money back from your purchase. In some stores, you're not even gonna have to do any work. So with Ibotta, some stores are directly linked. You are gonna go shopping, you're gonna save your Ibotta offer in the app. Just use the barcode scanner while you're in the store. It makes it super, super easy. So let me see if I can give you an example here. And I didn't set up my phone before we went live, but I don't think that there's an offer for Mueller's. But literally all I have to do is take Mueller's, find the barcode, take Ibotta. Up in the very top, you'll see the search bar. And if I click on the search bar, you'll see right there a little barcode symbol. Oh, where are we? Barcode symbol right up there in that corner. So when I click on that, I get a barcode scanner. I can scan the Mueller's, and it's gonna tell me, oh, there's an offer for 10 cents back on any brand pasta sauce, but no Mueller's coupon. But if I'm in the store, I could very easily just use the barcode scanner as I put things into my cart, and I could get some mobile app money back. Just icing on the cake. Now, I would still encourage you to use some paper coupons too, but icing on the cake. So for example, I mentioned our Del Monte fruit. Del Monte, if you pull up your Ibotta app, there's all sorts of Del Monte offers. So we have that Publix store buy one, get one coupon. I have a store digital coupon that I can load to my Publix account, and I can come home and I could submit all of those as well for even more money back. So do take advantage of them. Fetch, Ibotta, Checkout 51, all three of them. They're great mobile apps to get started with, and just a little bit of extra money back in your pocket when you're done. So it's like a mail-in rebate, but you didn't have to mail anything in. Okay. And Teresa's saying she loves Fetch and Ibotta, the coupons.com app. So coupons.com, they bought Saving Star and they tried to port in Saving Star's technology. It's kind of a tricky app, and I'll just warn you there. So when you choose to use the coupons.com app, it is linked to your account, it is linked to your phone number, and it is going to have moments where it won't work if you've printed the coupons and then you try to upload an offer. So that is one that I don't tend to touch very much. I just stick with Ibotta, Fetch, and Checkout 51. Someone else asked about Flip. Flip is really just an app to view your weekly ads. There's not a lot there other than the opportunity to look at your Publix weekly ad or your Kroger weekly ad. They have some offers, but those same offers are in the Publix app and in the Kroger app. So I would just deal with it directly from the store, not from coupons.com or from Flip, really. Once you load through one of those, I can't load in other places. It's locking you down to kind of limit your opportunities. So a little tricky going that route. Okay, to keep moving, there we go. Good to see a bunch of you jump in right away. Sorry about that. We have a fun time making this work on country internet, and normally we never have issues, but that's okay. So to go back to where I was going, brand loyalties, it's a big one, and it's a big one that is pricey. So I do just want to, put it out there. I'm not saying you can't buy your Tide, but I am saying if you're focusing on just one brand, it's going to cost you money. And it's going to cost you more money than it would if you were willing to switch up between 2 or 3 brands, just to throw it out there. For example, this past week, we got all detergent for 88 cents in Walgreens. You could go to Publix today or tomorrow. Obviously today they're kind of closed. Tomorrow, get Persil detergent, 100-ounce Persil detergent or 38 count. So this is the larger size Persil for $3.49. You can get the smaller size Persil for $2.99 in Walgreens and CVS this week as well. Not gonna see those prices on Tide. Now, I'm not just picking on Tide. This is really across the board with a lot of brands. Anytime we put ourselves in one boat, you're just like putting on blinders like a horse, and you're not willing to look in any direction and find another deal that is going to cost you money. So I encourage you to be willing to switch between even just one more brand so that you have a little flexibility. If it's not on sale and I need it, I've got a chance of finding a sale between a couple different brands, but I'm also not gonna miss out on some great deals. There may be some brands out there that you've never tried, but you might actually be just as content with, and they are so much cheaper than some of these other brands. So just to put that out there, I can't make you switch your brands, but it is a significant savings on your budget if you're willing to take the cheapest option. So a great example here, guys, is peanut butter. In our world, I don't care what peanut butter I grab. I do care that it's extra crunchy. That just makes me happy. But when it comes to peanut butter, I will grab whatever peanut butter is the cheapest, whatever one's on sale that I have a coupon for. Like Jif has been, 74 cents in Kroger, and super, super cheap for the big jar in Publix. This is just from our stash from the last time Skippy was on sale. but focusing on that. It's not about the brand. It's just, hey, we need some peanut butter, and focusing on which one is on sale and which one has a coupon, because that is what's getting you the best deal. So just putting it out there. I am not going to come and nag you in the store, I promise, but it is a significant increase to your budget when you start to say, nah, I don't want that one, and I don't want that one, and I don't care that that one's 20 cents. Like, what? It's 20 cents. Just get the peanut butter, whatever it is that we might take. But you can't do that and try to live on a tight grocery budget. You've got to be willing to make those exceptions. Okay, and Desiree's saying you've stocked up with Tide at CVS. Now, yes, shopping the drugstore deals, we will see some pretty great prices on Tide, but just to throw it out there, basically, that there are some other brands and some other deals that you can get and still come out very, very well with those other brands. One other big area, and I pulled some links for this too, is meal planning. So we post a meal plan every month with a full month-long meal plan for you so that you are set and you've got a whole bunch of ideas. So the January meal plan, you can download this in the meal plan. There are direct links to each of these recipes, so you can just print off whichever ones you're interested in. I'm not saying you have to use this straight as it is, but it can still be a great tool. If you're trying to decide what are we gonna make for dinner, this is done. The other thing that we have recently added on Southern Savers, we used to do this a long time ago, and we've brought it back, is a weekly meal plan. And by the way, if you're ever looking for these, go to Frugal Living over here at the top and menu plans. But we brought it back, so you'll see these as the top, is that we are doing a weekly meal plan based on the sales that are running for Publix and for Kroger. So this is the meal plan for the sale that actually starts in 2 days. How awesome is that? You've got 2 days heads up to get going on it. And the same for Kroger. So looking at those, again, I'm not telling you what to eat. I'm just trying to help you focus on what's on sale and going in with a plan. That's what a meal plan's really doing. Not only is it helping you figure out what's for dinner, but it's really helping you plan what do we need to have in the house to cook those items this week. So for me, that has become a key portion before I go to the grocery store. Yes, I'm only focusing on what's on sale, but still sitting down and saying, okay, what do we want to eat this week? And do I have everything that I need to make those? I'm okay with adding in something super tiny. If we've run out of a spice, I will still try to find a sale on spices. But do we have everything? For us, I will confess, I actually used to hate meal planning. We didn't do very well sticking to a plan. But living out in the country, we have internet issues, but we also have a 30-minute drive to town. And so I'm not going to do that. We run out of something, we're just out of it. This isn't going to be let me go get this. That isn't going to happen. So we really do. Having a meal plan became kind of a necessity for my sanity and for the budget. But I would encourage you to try it, even if it's on a 1-week basis at a time. The other part of that, and I mentioned this in the beginning, how great it would be if we had a 1 week a month where you try to eat from the pantry. And that would be where a meal plan could come in too. It's creative for you. You might have to do a little thinking, but it is a great way to say, look at everything I have on hand. Let me try to eat what I've got on hand and not have a big grocery bill this week. Now, if you're gonna do this, the best week to do this, not only for your budget, but for grocery sales as well. You may not realize it, but the grocery stores and their sale ads, the worst week of the month is always the last week of the month. They know that you're out of money, and there are not a lot of brands that actually want to be in that last week of the month's ad because they know you're out of money. So most folks are very tight by that last week of the month, and I could pay to be a BOGO deal in the Publix ad, because those are paid for, by the way, but I would prefer to be a BOGO deal in the first week of the month's ad because you just got paid. So if I'm gonna skip a week of grocery shopping, the least painful week for you to skip in terms of missing the sales that are out there is always the last week of the month. Now, I'm not saying there aren't deals in the ad, but it's not going to be as thrilling as the other weeks of the month for sure for most grocery stores. So just kind of an inside tip there. If you want to try to have a 1 week a month eat from the pantry, that's the week I encourage you to pick, because you'll feel less pulled to the store, less like you're missing out on the sales, knowing that there aren't really that many great sales going, and odds are your budget's a little tighter too. So it's a great week for your budget before you get paid again at the beginning of the month. So just to kind of keep that one in mind if you're going for it. Great. So Barbara's got a great question. Where do I buy my spices? Asking, saying if we're out of a spice, I'm okay with adding it. So there's a few things that I'll do, Barbara. If it's something that we use a ton of, I'll actually buy it in bulk. Spices in the warehouse clubs are good prices. The hard part with spices in the warehouse clubs, if it's not something that you use a lot of, spices do have a shelf life. And so if you're looking at, I'm going to have this bottle of spice for the next 5 years, probably not going to have that much flavor to it come 5 years from now. So if it's a spice we use a ton, I will buy in bulk. I'll also look for those, the restaurant supply stores in our area, they sell spices as well. So we will grab those from the chef store or warehouse clubs. Other spices, Publix and Kroger for that matter, regularly run buy one, get one sales on spices. Kroger will run buy one, get one on national brands, but the big one for Kroger is that they will regularly run buy one, get one on house brand spices. And I am always for that sale. I'm not even a big Kroger person, but I will always head in for that sale. Buy one, get one in Publix whenever they run Spice Island. There's always a printable coupon for that on Spice Island's website. Sometimes we even get those in the Sunday paper. So Spice Island and Kroger House Brand make up like 3/5 of our spice cabinet, just following those particular deals and trying to stay focused on what we regularly use. Desiree, I love this one too, wanting to start a garden, but feeling very intimidated. So focus on your seasons, Desiree. This is another great moment to reach out to your local extension office. It's your agricultural extension office in South Carolina. They're your Clemson's extension office in Georgia. It's probably your University of Georgia extension office. Just run through your agricultural school in your state. But they would be able to tell you, based on the season, what should be in your garden. They'll do soil sample testing for you to tell you if everything's set, or maybe you need to get some certain fertilizer. But it's a great tool and it's free for you to reach out to them to just get their advice as to what you should plant. It's a great way to get started. And to get started small, maybe you get a great deal on an arrow garden and you stick it on the counter and get started super small. But you really could just have one little raised bed, get your feet wet in gardening, and then branching out beyond that after one season, and you're good to go. But it's a good way to cut your grocery budget for sure, to grow your own plants. Which apps can't be used with other apps? So coupons.com and Checkout 51, they're kind of in cahoots together. They've always shared data, so they are not going to be happy if you redeem a receipt to each of those apps. Ibotta could care less what apps you use with it, so use away with Ibotta. They do not share their data with anyone, but coupons.com and Checkout 51 do share information. And Barb says, depending on which store I bought ground beef, it seems to turn brown really quick. Is the solution to freeze the meat right away, or is that poor wrapping by the store? So it can be poor wrapping by the store, Barb, and this is one where maybe you just kind of decide, I'm not really always loving this particular store meat, and I'm going to try to aim for deals somewhere else. Could be the case too. I would recommend, for us, as soon as meat comes home, it gets vacuum sealed and put into the freezer. So it is incredibly rare that fresh meat even goes in the fridge. Some of that's because our fridge is a little crazy with just tons of eggs from the yard already, so things can get lost. But typically for me, whatever I buy in the grocery store, I didn't buy to eat today. I bought because it was on sale, and we'll work it into recipes as we plan to, but it wasn't necessarily purchased because we had to have it. So it goes straight into the freezer, and then we don't have to deal with anything going bad. That might save it too. And Karen Lucas says 5-gallon buckets make great container gardens. So there you go. Grab a 5-gallon bucket on sale in Home Depot or Lowe's and Get started with super, super easy, tiny little porch gardens, and you'd be set. Okay, one last thing that is on my list is unexpected cart additions. When I first started couponing, my husband would come with me every now and then to the store, and if you followed Southern Savers for a really long time ago, I used to do something called Friday Finals, and every week I would line up all the groceries and I'd take a picture of it and I'd share how much we spent, how much we saved, and it was great. But lining up all my groceries, they're just things that you get really tired of doing, and that was one of them. And so I was like, I don't really want to take this picture anymore. But back in the day, if he came shopping with me, I would quickly say, you have to have your own cart, and all your things that you want to add, they go in your cart, because I don't want them to count into my totals for the week. They're going to count into your totals for the week. And I'm only picking on him because he's not really in the store that often, but we're just as bad at that. So if you're walking through the store and you start to add things to the cart that look enticing, you're going when you're hungry, all the things you shouldn't do for the grocery store. But when you start to add things into the cart, even those clearance items, they still have a cost. And so that's why I'm saying unexpected cart additions. You didn't go in with these items on your shopping list. You didn't know they were going to be on sale, or you didn't see them and desperately need them, before you got to the store. Those items add up. And so maybe for you, the best thing, if you struggle with this, is that you give yourself a budget specifically for that category. So you know what? I'm going into this store. I know that they're running Christmas clearance. I am willing to look at Christmas clearance, but I am not going to spend more than $5, because those categories, they add up very quickly. And all of a sudden you're checking out and you're trying to figure out how did we hit 150? We don't ever hit 150. Well, how much extra did you add in that you were kind of blinded to? It was on clearance. I wasn't really looking at the price. So I'm not saying that we go and we put a category in our budget on the computer. I'm just saying mentally, as you go into the store, you know what? I'm going to stick to the list. And if I decide to get things that are not on this list going into the store, then I'm giving myself a budget of X amount of dollars for anything that is off list. Hopefully your list is all of the sale items, but all of the non-list items, limit yourself, because that's going to really make you sit back and say, wait a second, do I need this? Is this really important, or am I craving it because this looks really yummy? This clearance item, do I already have some of this? Is this really worth adding to the cart if I only have this much wiggle room in that off-list budget? And I think that will be a significant help for some folks, because we don't tend to pay attention to them. We are excited most of the time because they were on clearance. They were a great deal. And we forget that even at $1, $1.50, they're still adding to the total cost when you go to checkout. So start doing that for me, even if it's just for a week or two, to kind of take a mental note of how much are these things adding. If you're doing great on it, great, you can stop. But hopefully for some of you, it is going to have an impact. It is going to all of a sudden lower that scary moment when you're going to check out and you owe more than you expected to owe, and help bring your budget back down, because that is an area for a lot of us that we can struggle with. So Janice has a great tip too on the meat. She says she goes straight to the butcher counter, and that way she avoids buying it browned because it hasn't even been sitting out. You're getting it fresh from the butcher counter. One little inside tip on that too, Janice, I see that you're in California. For anyone that is on the East Coast side, for my Harris Teeter shoppers, if you've not realized this, for my Harris Teeter folks, buying direct from the butcher counter is cheaper than buying packaged meat. Still butcher counter meat, but fresh from the butcher counter, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, regularly 99 cents a pound in Harris Teeter. But you won't find that in the package section out in front. So butcher counters are your friend, not only for fresh meat, but for deals as well. Okay. I think, and yes, John is also, or Emily is saying, carry a calculator with you in the store to keep a cost visual. And I think that's a great idea. I actually was listening to a book recently, and he was talking about how they were trying to get their grocery budget under control, and he was sitting there on his phone adding everything in, and then someone started talking to him and he hit clear, and he had no idea what to do other than to just go back and put all the groceries back and reshop it because he couldn't handle that he had cleared out. And they were trying to shop with a cash-based budget, so he really needed to know how much it was. I love the idea of a calculator in the store. I don't know if folks can handle it for the entire buggy, but it's definitely a way to go for those unexpected cart additions. So when you start to add things into the cart that you weren't expecting, keeping a running total of what that's going to be for you is a great idea, and a great way to then mentally be able to say, whoa, we have hit enough. We are done adding extra things to the cart, and we are going to focus on just getting what's on the list for sure. Okay. And Susan, it's okay. I'm glad you're confessing. Susan says, true confession, I have been buying items I don't need, just chasing Ibotta bonuses. You are not alone. That is why those bonuses are there. It's just to get you to grab more items, submit more things so that you can get that $10 bonus. Sometimes it's higher if they realize that you need a little extra motivation. So maybe for you, it's you know what? We're going to submit only the receipts and only the items that we grabbed, and we're not going to pay attention to the bonus for this month. And just hopefully that's going to help a little bit. Now, if you're getting great deals on those items, magical, wonderful, but I would say even setting a budget for yourself, if I do not use this, if I'm going to be donating this, that you have a max amount that you're willing to grab, even for items that you're going to donate. It's great to donate. I'm all for it, but not great to blow your budget just to donate those items. So for me, I'm willing to grab an item to donate, to give away. It is not something we would use at all if it was maybe 25 cents or less. It was a crazy good deal. I mean, if we were talking like diapers for 75 cents, I'd probably buy them too to donate. But for most items, it would be 25 cents or less. Beyond that, I'm gonna have to do some serious thinking as to whether or not is this something folks would even want, or am I just grabbing it because it's a crazy good deal, but nobody's gonna want it? You're not really helping anybody out there either. But just kind of, setting that budget for yourself and having that stand down moment. And maybe a good one too will be that week where you're not in the store. So I'm taking this week off, and that's gonna help your budget out a ton as well. And I love it. Yes, Sheila, very true. Pickup orders, she's saying Kroger pickup totally helps with the budget. It does. If anything, that's actually been a really negative part for grocery stores. They have very lower impulse buys when you shop online, because shopping online is slightly tedious. You have to look up each item that you want. You have to add it into your cart. So they've taken away that impulse buy. Now, Kroger's tried to bring some of that back with digital coupons specifically for pickup orders that are adding in like when you buy this and when you buy this. And so hopefully they can add a few extra things into your cart. But pickup orders do significantly decrease those extra cart additions that you didn't see, so you couldn't grab them. And I love it. It is a great way to stay on budget and to not even go into the store at all, but you still grab the groceries that you need. So 100%, we should all take advantage of it. And Stacy's adding in as well that was a big one for her. And Carl says, my wife is getting used to me saying, but I don't have a coupon or a rebate for that. And Carl, it's just teaching the family. My kids have long learned if it is not on sale, I am not grabbing it. If anything, I think part of it is their motivation to help me bring in groceries now, because it's what did mama get? It's all a surprise. Who knows what we've come home with? So if you help unload the groceries, then you can find out what surprises you got this week as to what was on sale and what we had coupons for. Okay, well, we're kind of out of time. I'm sorry on the technical glitch, but I'm glad that everybody managed to jump back over and catch the video once we came back live. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to be back on next Monday night, every Monday night for the foreseeable future. That's the fun part of doing a weekly Q&A. I did map out our plan, so we breezed over them tonight, but next Monday night we're going to specifically talk money saving apps. So we will hit all of them, not just the top 3 that I mentioned today, but other money saving apps that we're using, that you could be using to decrease your budget, increase your savings, use coupons in restaurants, wherever. I would love to hear what your apps are too, so be ready to share on those favorites with me next Monday night. Same time, always at 8:30 Eastern. Feel free to share this with friends. If you're on YouTube and even Facebook, the best thing that you can always do for us is liking the video, because it just helps the algorithm to see that it was good content. So if you do that too, that would be magical. Sharing with folks, and then we'll see you next Monday night. I will also be back online tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 for our weekly drugstore video. So you can catch me live then or catch it after the fact. If you are at work, I completely understand. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you online again soon. Thanks for watching.